Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is time for something to get us ready for 2025. Last time we met, we talked about how do we put a little bit of control on our cost of doing business because we want to tame those expenses. And then I got to thinking, because I am going through the work for myself, but when is the last time that I updated my cost of living expenses? Because things have changed. Clearly, things have changed. So that is what we're going to talk about today. Ah, yes. It's time for another quick lunch and learn, as I like to say. Hello, first of all. My name is Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. I'm the career coach here, and some other things. But you are tuning into HouJack DMS Live Learning, and we are streaming to LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, I find it's a better experience. So I invite you to come on over, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure that you're getting all the latest and greatest that we have to offer here. So let's talk about our cost of living, shall we? And October tends to be my month to get things together. I don't wait until November. I don't wait until December. When I am putting together my marketing plan, my working marketing plan, I start in October to figure out what I want to do 3 months from now, i.e. January. Can you believe that? 3 months from now. Where did the year go? I don't know. All I know is we are here today. So let us get into it because we want to talk about updating your cost of living as an entrepreneur. We want to make sure that when we are getting things together, that we have all of our numbers in order, all of the numbers. So today I want to just cover a couple of things that are, it's time for an update. It's time for an update. We want to talk about housing, transportation, your healthcare, food and groceries. We are looking at an updating these areas because things have changed. I know inflation has been out of pocket. Inflation has come down though. And I also know that despite the fact that our economy is moving the way it should, some of us are still feeling it. Now, I'm very clear about where I stand on shrinkflation, where we have companies who have reduced the size of what they offer, but have kept the price or increased the price of some things. And then there's just good old-fashioned corporate greed. So there's that too. Because like all of you, when I say I am going back to the books to look at all of the services I have signed up for, all the software I have been using for my business and my home, if you've increased the price and I don't feel the value is still there, trust, I'm getting an alternate, but let me focus on the task at hand. Right now, we're talking about our cost of living. So let's start with housing first, shall we? So in terms of housing, now I'm just giving you some basics of where you can start. I would like to believe that we all have some sort of system in place to help us keep a pulse on our cost of living. And cost of living is not exclusive to entrepreneurs. So if you are the average everyday person, which is just all of us, you can take some tips from this too, because this impacts every single one of us. And I'm going to say it again, because my husband and I, we go through this exercise, preparing for 2025, looking at any trips we want to take, any special events. We start planning now. Keep in mind, he also married a Virgo, so God bless him. But we start planning now to prepare for what's coming. Not that you're not going to have spur of the moment or unforeseen circumstances that tap your wallet, but you can do some preparation to get yourself ready for what could be. That is what we're talking about today. So let's talk about housing. We're looking at your mortgage payments first, and that could be rent or leasing as well. Look at your mortgage payments. Look at your lease. Now, look at your rent. If something has gone up, and I am not the first person to talk about moving. I am not. I hate moving. I hate it. But I also know that I got to figure out some other things if I can. If I can. Some of these expenses are set, and some of them fluctuate, and some of them can be easily adjusted, right? If you have the opportunity to perhaps get a roommate, move in with family members, that may impact what you do in this area. So keep in mind, we're just talking big screen here. Is it screen? Big idea? Big area? Big general? Whatever. We're talking general. Your property taxes. Man, ho, ho, ho. Check your property taxes. Things are switching up on us. So check that. Make sure that number is reflecting what you pay today and not what you were paying 2 years ago. And then look at your utilities. And let me just talk about utilities real quick. And I'm going to throw in there again all of these streaming services and subscriptions that we subscribe to. They can actually go in utilities and also maintenance expenses, but this is really utilities. Because if you cut the cord on cable, you had cable, that's a utility. So now if you're going to a streaming service, and I'm talking to you, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever you are today, these rising prices, and I don't really watch TV like that, trust, we gonna cut some more. You know what I mean? So make sure that you're looking at all of that. And there have been a number of streaming services that have increased their prices. And for some people, it's just not worth it. It just isn't. It's like, it's not necessary. The same thing with your maintenance expenses. Perhaps you have a lawn service and a pest control service. And maybe you use any kind of security service. That could be Ring or Nest or was it Blink? Any one of those. Do you still need to have them keep all of your videos in the cloud and you never actually use those videos? Or do you want them to keep them for the day of and then when it's gone, it's gone? You got to decide on that because all of that costs money. And all of those, and I am guilty of it, I often forget these subscriptions are part of my cost of living, out of sight, out of mind, because they just auto renew. It's like, oh, it's just a doorbell. Until, of course, the kid knocks on the door. He's like, hey, I'm here to do your pest control. I'm thinking, I could not do this myself. Maybe I could. I know we can cut our own grass. I know that much. So we look at all the things, but think about those expenses, your maintenance, your subscriptions, your streaming services, all of that is part of utilities and maintenance expenses. And also under maintenance expenses, your HOA fees, if they're going up, yeah, check it. Check all of that. These are the things that we know we have to pay them, but we kind of forget about them because again, it's just there and we just do it. Until, of course, they want to increase those maintenance fees for your condo or wherever you are, your apartment complex, depending on what you have, your townhome. And then you're like, pump the brakes. Like, why are we increasing fees here? Like, what's the deal? And I can tell you right now, I don't like HOAs. We are in an older area where we don't have an HOA. At this point, at this day and time, I don't know why people still have them. That's just my personal opinion. In the past, they were supposed to promote the value of your area, and I believe do some other things, if you know what I'm talking about. But that time, in my opinion, has come and gone because we are living differently. But let me stay focused. Let me stay focused on the task at hand. Let's talk about number 2, transportation. Okay, vehicle payments. Whether you are leasing the car or you are paying your car to eventually own it, think about those payments. That typically is set in stone. Unless, of course, if you're leasing, you go over, that's like an additional fee. But me, myself, I have never been one to be about the latest and greatest. I know that sounds kind of, but I'm not. Everybody has their something. I want to pay my car off, which it is. And I'm going to ride that sucker till the wheels fall off. That's where Gwendolyn is. So if she gets to 200,000 miles, yes, I am happy as a clam in high tide. I don't have to have the latest and greatest. I need to get to from point A to point B. I need her to be reliable. That's all I need. I don't need much else. I mean, could I zhuzh her up and do like fun things on her rims and whatnot? Yeah, I could, but is it necessary? Absolutely not. So think about your car payments. Again, that tends to be a set price, but I should say a set expense. But gas can fluctuate. Gas can go up, gas can go down. I typically like to look at the average and plan for that. And at a certain point, you kind of know what your average is for your car. So if you know that one tank is costing you $50, depending on what you're driving, then plan for that for the year and call it a day. Look at your insurance. Can you reduce your insurance rate? And I was just here last week talking again to the hubs. We're like, hey, since we're preparing, let's see if we can reduce our insurance rate. When I went out looking, I don't know who these folks are planning insurance rates for. We are not young people. Okay? We're not driving sports cars. And the vehicles are paid off. But we are in an area that gets hit by tornadoes and hail. Still, some of these quotes that came back, I was like, clearly, we have the lowest price. We're going to stay here. But you got to look around. So you never know. And I'll add to an amazing, impeccable driving record. So whatever. But if you don't look, you never know. So we looked, we are best to stay where we are. So we're not going, but maintenance, plan for that. I plan for my tires because I have like 19-inch tires and they are run flats. I plan for $2,000 for my tires. I know it don't make sense, but I love my run flats and they came in handy when I needed them. Think about your oil change, think about your filter, and consider this too. Again, whatever I can do for myself, I do for myself. That's my mindset. Has been, will always be. And then if I have to go to some place, I go to some place. So if I have someone or myself who can do my oil change, I will take that route. Tires, I don't bother, but I do shop for my tires. I look around. I don't go to the dealership. You know what I'm talking about? I'm looking at Tire Rack, discounttire.com. I'm looking at all the places to get the best deal on my tires. I shop around, but I am that kind of person. That's what I do. But think about the maintenance and plan for that. Plan for it. I put money aside for the tires. I put money aside for like the maintenance because I know I'm going to have to get it. Changing my wipers, well, that ain't nothing, right? And again, not the dealership. But I look to see where I can make sure I come in at the lowest cost. And sweat equity tends to be very affordable. Now, you may also need some public transportation costs. That could be in there too. If you're in a place where you don't have to have a vehicle, is great, but you also still have to get around. So you may have to get like a subway card or a bus pass, or it could be that you do park and ride, right? So think about all of those things when you're putting your numbers together. And then lastly, the parking fees, the tolls, and your commute expenses. I love the toll road, especially in Houston. I'm going to get on the toll and get myself from the north side of Houston to the south side of Houston, because doing everything else in between is a headache for me. I will happily pay that cost. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, depending on the day, I'll just take the highway. But there are some times that I really have to get across town. And I say across town because they're really spread out. I'm hopping on the toll road. But I don't drive very often anymore. So that expense is not as high as it used to be, right? I used to plan for $80 for what? Like a month and a half when I was working in Coppell. My $80 goes very far nowadays. It's more like every 3 months, something like that, maybe. maybe every 4. I'm getting ready to do my calculation. But look at your parking fees. Look at your tolls, your commute expenses, because put all of that in there to make sure that you have the right numbers going into 2025. Does not hurt to get it together. All right. Healthcare. Ooh, doggy. Healthcare. Health insurance premiums. Man, yeah, it's another one. If you have to shop around or you can shop around, shopping around is not a bad thing. And there are some people that will typically go with the very first quote that they get. But my husband and I, we look around, try to see like where we can get the best. And this is a part that is I find agitating and sucky with our healthcare system. I can have a great doctor that I really, really like, and then they're not in network. And so now it becomes, how much do I now want to put into my out-of-pocket medical expenses? Now, we do take advantage of a flex spending account, FSA. You also may have a health spending account, HSA. We take advantage of that, get those tax-free dollars to go towards our healthcare and everything, to use it for other things, right? So my eye doctor, when I went looking for a new eye doctor, it was atrocious. Looking at some of the processes and what some of these doctors are doing and just the reviews, I thought, I can't. And so sitting with the husband, we decided for what I had to pay out of pocket, it was just best to do out of network versus trying to find a doctor that's in network. And that's a discussion you and your loved ones, or just you and yourself, whomever, your household, you have to decide. So we plan for my glasses, my contacts, my out of network eye doctor. We plan for those things. A little bit of medicine here and there, prescriptions, but you have to take into account what you do to plan for the next year. Now, this is where that next one comes in, prescriptions and preventive care. You know, at one point, all your allergy meds and stuff were all covered. I should say there were a number of over-the-counter medicines, pardon me, that were covered under your FSA. Things have changed now. Things have changed. But you do know that you still need these preventive medicines in your household. So when the cold and flu season comes in, it is allergy season right now for Gwendolyn. I went out yesterday because I just had to get outside. I had to get my 5 miles in. I'm paying for it today. And I have used all of the things, right? We've done a salt water rinse, my nasal spray, my Zyrtec. I've done all of it. And I am still waiting to get my relief. So it's the things you do to stay healthy. But knowing that I'm going to use these medicines at some point in time, I'm going to use like an Aleve or a Tylenol or a Zyrtec or a NyQuil cold and flu for either myself or the hubs. We plan for that. Put some money aside for that because you know you're going to need it. And depending on where you go, I like to go to Costco, I like to buy it in bulk. Then you may be in a really good place. You know, but take into account preventive care, and it is cheaper. It is much cheaper to get ahead of something than get behind it. Now, although I am suffering from my allergies, and I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, keeping my heart healthy and the body healthy is far better than having to deal with what could be, right? And then lastly is emergency savings. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a hard one. It's a hard one. We talk about a rainy day fund and, you know, I use Profit First. So I plan, you know, I plan for a lot of stuff with Profit First. I mean, every area of the business has a bucket. You can do the same thing. It's the envelope system for like a business, but you can do the same thing in your personal life as well. But most Americans, as I have read some years ago, and it's still true here, most Americans are one major event away from poverty because a lot of us don't have savings. That's the reality. It's the reality. If you had to find $1,000 today, could you do it? You know, we have to think about those things. So whatever you can do to get ahead of not getting sick, preventive healthcare. Still got to think, just in case something happens, let me have an emergency fund. And at this point, my equilibrium is just way off. I find myself walking into doors and walls all day. So I really need to think, okay, let me not get out here and hurt myself in the house and have a broken leg or something because I'm falling. But those are my personal problems. Okay, next one, food and groceries. Ugh. Whew. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now, Gwendolyn's going coupon. I'm a coupon person. I was in the store just the other week, got my vaccinations and a $20 coupon towards groceries. I paid $10 for groceries that day. I was very happy because I had that and my other coupons. Yes, I put them all together. We are strategic with the grocery shopping and what we buy. I hate wasting food. I hate it. So if I know that we're not going to eat so many apples within a time frame, I only buy the 2 or 3 apples I know we're going to eat. The bananas, I know that they won't be there long, right? The grapes, that won't be there long. But I just don't buy fresh fruit to have it sit in the fridge and go bad. And I just don't buy anything to sit in the fridge and go bad. I look at the menu. Okay, so I'm making a menu. Don't judge me, okay? But I want to know for 3 days, what am I going to eat and cook? And I believe in leftovers. My husband's like, depending on what it is. Like he likes chicken and dumplings. He'll do those leftovers, right? Some of the other leftovers, I don't want that for dinner. Okay, we got to figure it out, kid. So there's planning over here. So look at your daily food consumption. Now, I don't have kids. We don't have kids in this house. So we're not running through snacks. Although as an adult, I still run through snacks, right? Dining out. How often are you going out to eat? We don't plan it. We probably should, but we don't plan it. But I would say on average for us, we may go out, I should say eat out, maybe 3 to 4 times a month. And that's a maybe, because it's not very often. Gwendolyn cooks. We're going to cook in this house. We are going to cook. We talk about grocery shopping. I plan for that. And I don't know where you guys are, but I'm here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have a Kroger. Kroger has fuel rewards. So on a Friday, which I hate getting out the shop on a Friday because everybody's there before the weekend, but they give you 4 times your points, right? It goes towards gas. And I have had times where I have had 50 cents off each gallon of gas. Trust. Oh, we're filling up, right? So Gwendolyn gets her gas. My husband holds the hose. I move his car up. He gets his gas. Yeah. I'm strategic when it comes to working this household, but think about what you can do to get the most. And maybe it's going to the farmer's market. Maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you're buying things in bulk. It's just the 2 of us. So we go to Costco and we get a lot of things in bulk. And that goes to my household essentials. It's just 2 of us. So I will get the 1 package of paper towels and the 1 thing of toilet paper, and it will last us a very long time here with just 2 people. So you got to think for yourself, okay, perhaps I can't put all of these rolls of paper in my house, but perhaps you and a friend can split it. Consider that. There are so many ways to make this work for you, but you got to be creative. You got to have partners. And I'm thinking back to when my father and my aunt and my grandmother would go shopping together. They would get some things in bulk, like at the meat market, and then they would split it up. So they get half an animal, but they split it up, right? It's cheaper to divide it by 3 people versus 1 family. And we had, my aunt had 4 boys, my parents, there's 2 girls, 2 boys. So there were kids in these households. So we're at a time where it's good to get creative with what you're doing. That's my little tip of the day, if anything else. But we're not done yet because there is debt. We have debt we have to make sure that we add into our cost of living. And sometimes that gets missed. Now you have personal debt, your student loans, your credit card debt, your personal loans, your car payment, which I know we talked about before under transportation. But you got to add this in there too, because it is part of your cost of living. You have to make sure, and God bless it. And I have been there. Just paying the minimum means you're going to be there a while. So in my personal history, my experience, if you can make a plan for that, the faster it's going to go. That's all I'm saying. Been there, done that. Right? And I don't know too many folks who haven't been there and done that, but we have been there and done that. And I know that making a plan helped me get out of what I was in. So, but it's got to be included. It's got to be included. I know for my car payments and my student loans, we were doubling up on those. I wanted those gone ASAP. But I had a plan. And with that plan meant, yes, I wasn't going out to eat. No, I'm not going out to get clothing and shoes and things. There may have been a little bit of a splurge here and there. But when you look around, you got to ask yourself, do I really need another pair of shoes? Do I really need that handbag? Do I really need another black sweater? Ask yourself. And for myself, I wanted to be rid of these personal debts far more than I wanted a new handbag. That's what kept me focused. But I had to include it in all my other stuff. I had some stuff going on back in the day. I'll talk about that. Not here, not right now, but we'll talk about that eventually, sometime in the future. But look at your personal debt and think about how you can pay more than the minimum and slide that into your cost of living. Make sure that's all in there. Now, your business debt is not part of your personal. It is separate, but it still needs to be accounted for, especially if you're a small business owner and this comes out of your owner compensation, right? So let me make sure I'm clear here. If you're a small business owner, all of that cost of living stuff comes out of what you bring home. Your business debt is part of your business expenses. So keep that in mind, but you still want to know what that number is. If you got loans or lines of credit, you want to know what that number is. And this whole entire conversation is about being aware of what we're actually doing. Out of sight, out of mind is a problem. Not gonna lie to you. When I think about some of the subscriptions I have recently canceled, it's because I was like, wait a minute, I'm paying for what? Yeah. Which is why I was like, Gwendolyn, it's October. Let's make sure we know exactly what's coming in, what's going out, but more importantly, what's going out. And do we still need it? Do we still need to have this? Or can I just get rid of it or find something else, something more affordable, but that is just as efficient? So let's talk about that. I told you I'm having a party. It's a get or done. The cost of doing a business party. We're doing it next Wednesday, October 16th at 7 p.m. And this is just a dedicated time for you to sit down with others and just really look at your numbers. This is a no judgment zone. Because I got my own thing going on over here. I'm like, look, that contract will not be renewed in 2025. I've already decided it's not. But that means I got to find something else to replace it with. And hence, I'm on the hunt. But you do it now. And keep in mind, a lot of these companies do give you that 30-day or more, depending on your contract, notice that you're about to pay for something else again. And a lot of these companies have moved away from giving you a straight out refund. They are now either saying, great, you have the whole entire year, and then once this year is over, your contract is canceled. Or some of them are doing a prorated return, but read your terms and conditions. But this is where I am. When you know what's happening, you can get ahead of all of that and not get caught up. Hence, October, let's get her done. Let's do this cost of doing business party. Get the numbers on the paper, realize what's going on, and figure out yay or nay. So you can check the HouJackDMS.com website to see when that party's happening and RSVP. We like to RSVP to make sure that we know who's coming, have enough space. And you can also get our newsletter. It is a monthly tips on selling, growing a career, overcoming obstacles, building a community. We do that as well. But I want to thank you all for giving me your attention for these quick 30 minutes. Okay, maybe 31 minutes. But again, we are here to help all the people just be a better business owner. We don't have to do this journey by ourselves. We don't have to struggle. There is no, I don't know the gracious word for it. You don't get anything from struggling. There you go. No gold stars, no awards, no brownie points. You get nothing. You get stress. You get gray hair. Well, you'll get gray hair regardless, maybe. But you don't get anything great from struggling. Don't struggle. Get yourself a community. Get with some good people, and have a better life running your business. Have a better life running your business. So with that, I am going to give you your day back. Again, whether you're watching here or in the replay, thank you for tuning in to HouJack DMS. We would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. I keep doing that. God bless.